Welcome to the Trail Chasers Podcast.
This episode is presented by Nexen Tire. Did you know that the Rodian AT Pro RA8 is now 3-Peak Mountain certified? This all-terrain tire provides the ultimate in snow and ice performance for your roughest of wintry conditions with no performance trade-offs. You can find out more about these tires at nexentireusa.com.
Today on the show, we talk about my high desert adventures. And I guess these guys did some with some kids or something like that. Jose, are you done with that teachers have great benefits bit yet? What was up with that?
Hey, Matt, sorry we missed you on Saturday, but you do have to stay 500 feet away.
Oh.
It's time for the Trail Chasers Podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Trail Chaser, get out there and chase your adventure. Trail Chaser, our time is now.
Chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure.
All right, for those of you that sent in your audition tapes for Matt's spot on the podcast, I'm sorry. I'll store those for later just in case. But Matt made it out alive.
Just play them. I'll go home right. I'll just go right home right now. Very tired.
Why? Yeah, because you're feeling so great.
Dude, like this was a equally fun trip as a few months back. And I'm still alive, but for whatever reason, I feel like super sore this time. The last trip, I was shocked at how good I still felt like the next Monday and, full days riding.
Did you get after it just as hard, like on the trails?
Well, so this is what happened. I rode half as much. I feel twice as bad.
That's because you're old, dude.
Well, that, and so we get out of camp, and, it's a guy's trip. Everybody barrels out of camp. I'm the not the least skilled or experienced. It's just I don't ride as much anymore.
Yeah.
All these dudes roll hard, like, and they come out of camp.
Now,
okay, we're
now
going.
you know how I felt every single trip.
All right, well, whatever.
Man, you've been saving that for how many years now, dude?
I know. So, it's immediately, we're meeting at the cabin. There's like different spots around Razor Road that, we ride to. It's like a track or, you just.
A loop?
Yeah, just a big loop. So right out the gate, they just, boom, gone. And I told them, hey, I can't go that hard. I have to think about what I'm doing. That's because, I'm still rusty, and we go through these like sandy dunes, very tight, soft. You're on a bike. It's like the hardest thing because you have to manipulate your weight, throttle, and clutch are huge, and I'm stumbling through stuff. And I washed out like 5 minutes in, just whoosh, like the front end got loose on me. But it was literally, I just stepped off the bike. It never stopped running. I just picked it back up and then tried to run down these guys again. Like, so, the first hour or so is white knuckle. Please, I don't want to die. And that's the worst because that's when you're going to die. It's when you're thinking like, just don't die. You have to think too much about how you're riding or where you're going. And so before we got to our first stop, and you guys haven't seen this area, but we call it like Comp Hill, and it's like a big, kind of like a big half pipe. So imagine like the punch bowl. You guys have seen the punch bowl. Yeah. On one end is 3 times as high, very steep. High. And then the other side is 10 times as high. It's like 200 feet, like a big vertical.
And this is all sand?
Yes. And so, you got to have a 4-stroke. You got to have like a 450 to climb it, pretty much.
And you're pinning it the whole time.
I mean, because you can get a good run at it from the other side. So I take it back. If you're on a 2-stroke, you probably do it if you're good. So I didn't even try. So the past 2 times, I used to go wreck that thing all the way up to the top. Like we went around, whatever. But now it's like, I don't want to hurt myself. So I'll just go ahead, guys, and I just stay on the lower part of the half pipe. So this guy on a quad, the one quad that came, and I was kind of thankful, like, oh, man, I should be able to keep up with this dude. Like, I'll just hang back with this guy. He goes up. I think his name was Tim. And Tim, if it's not, I'm sorry, but something tells me
I think your name is Tim. Tim, if your name's not Tim, I'm sorry. Tim.
Yeah. Either way, you're Tim, just like Gus and Dave.
Yeah.
So he comes down, and it was the weirdest thing. I watched as he crashed. He's like he lost balance on his 4-wheeler on a flat on the very bottom of the like half pipe, doing like 5 miles an hour. It was the weirdest. Like, how did that happen? He wasn't hauling ass. It wasn't like he came down with a ton of momentum and he was trying to carve around this corner. But he ends up flopping the quad over, and then it kind of shot up the other side of the hill, turned around, and like a possessed, it was pissed at him, and it just like whacked him. I think it hit him like low in the lower back or something, and ran over his legs, but it took him out. And then he just laid there. And I'm like, uh-oh, hey guys, I think we have a problem. But it didn't look bad. I honestly thought, all right, man, walk it off.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it. Let's go. We got to, again, this is a half hour. This is our first stop.
This is on Saturday?
Yes. And so sure enough, he's out. He's done. Burnt his jersey. Yeah. So it, it didn't look too bad to me, but they take him back to camp. It takes probably over an hour to get him back because they put him in a side-by-side, and, they can't haul ass. They slowly drive him back. So we kind of screwed around a little bit. We didn't go directly back to camp. Bobbitt, Brian, and this other guy, Bo. But by the time we got back, he was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and go home, and then I'm probably going to go to the hospital. He texts back later on that night, 2 cracked vertebrae and a broken rib.
Damn.
Yeah. Don't mess with quads, dude. I've never had a quad.
I've had to eject myself from a quad coming down a hill. Matter of fact, there's a video on our.
You don't want to get into a wrestling match with a quad.
No, there's a video on our YouTube page, Glamis 2013 Glamis Guys Trip, and at one point you see Beefcake. We used to call the guy Beefcake.
Yeah.
He was coming, crested a dune sideways and dug in. And he fell off, and the quad tumbled down, and he was running down the dune trying to get away from it. And that quad came after him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Because the dirt bike, when you lay the dirt bike down, it's done.
Yeah, it just stays there.
Yeah.
Maybe you do some tumbling, typically. But so that was, sucked for him, but we went back to camp. So the first run, like, that was half the day gone. And, went back to camp, had some lunch, and then went out and hit it again. We went to the bridge,
Oh, okay.
And it was on that ride that, I got my sea legs back and, okay. Like, this is why I come out here. It's like, the amazing thing is, especially now, when those skills just come back to you all of a sudden. And now it's not just, hey, this is exhilarating, I'm on a bike. It's, wow, I can go where I want, and I can hit things.
Point and shoot type thing.
But you don't know what the terrain's like. That's what's great about the desert, is you're always making turns, and you have to be decisive, and you have to, like, I got to do this. And, as far as the bike is concerned it's a lot of fun when it just comes back to you, and then it's just fluid, and you're flowing like you're just flowing through a trail. It's a blast.
Yeah.
So.
That personally, that only happened a handful of times for me, and it was mostly in Glamis. Like once, after the first run of the day at Glamis, by day 2 or day 3, you kind of got your groove out. But every time we went out to the high desert and the rocks and stuff, I just it was like
It was white knuckling for you?
It was. I'm gonna die today. I just need to be okay with that, and I never got over that piece of it.
So Glamis is great. I love Glamis, but it's so much more forgiving because if you're climbing a big, huge dune or through a bowl or whatever, and you don't I have to make this turn.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess I'm going this way, and then you throttle out or whatever. If you're going through the desert and you're in 4th gear and you're moving and, life's coming at you, just bushes, and it's just bang, bang, you're making decisions and you're just doing it. You don't have to think downshift, you just do it. And then, you go down into a berm or something ooh, I hit that berm good, and you come rolling out of it. So
on the same video I was just talking about on our YouTube page, there's on that, the first 2 minutes of that video, we leave camp, you're in front of me.
I step off
I come over a dune and somehow bury the front end, and I literally tumble right over the handlebars onto my feet and stand up, and the bike's just sitting there, and I'm laughing at it. Matt decides to come back up the same dune I was coming up, doesn't have enough steam to do it, gets halfway up, falls off, steps off his bike, and the bike tumbles down, and we're just laughing, and it's because you're on sand, it doesn't hurt, and the bike's not hurt, and it's, that's the fun part of that. But I do sometimes I do miss the dirt bike stuff, but I know that you're way more passionate about it than I am.
I'm gonna die on my bike probably. I've just decided I can't. I have to have that. I'll be an old man riding my bike. Maybe I'm not gonna. I'm just not gonna ride as fast as I used to, but I still thoroughly enjoy it. It literally is one of the funnest things I've ever done every time I do it. So, and you go out with your buddies. You guys are, a lot of times it's your friends that maybe you only see once or twice a year, and it's only to ride dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of catching up and,
Well, you heard it, good. Folks. Matt will die on his bike, so keep sending those audition tapes in.
We'll bank them.
I'll store them. Yeah, I'll store them, and we'll figure out what to do with them once that happens.
There was this one story I'll share with you. Somebody, I think it was my buddy Mike, told this story about meeting a guy in his 60s at camping at the beach, and he had the perfect setup. He had a bitchin' RV. Towing a Rubicon a Jeep Rubicon with a special rack with a KTM on the back.
That guy's got money. That guy has some money.
So this is how he did it.
What was the giveaway? The KTM?
Yeah. Well, the RV Rubicon and KTM. I pretty much have to have money.
The guy. So Mike asked him "Wow, man. So what? Are you retired?" He's all, "Well, yeah, now. Basically, when my kids grew up and moved out of the house, I." Served my wife divorce papers, sold the house out from underneath her. They had a house in Huntington Beach.
Whoa!
And he just bought all that shit and then just did whatever he wanted.
Yeah. I'm out.
He's in the wintertime, I go here and I go fishing. And then summertime, I go to the beach and whatever. And he's been doing that for 10 years, just living the life. Oh my God. That's amazing, And he's doing it. He has no address. He's about as off the grid as you can be.
Oh,
but over this 10 years now, he has his loop. This is he travels the West.
Yeah, of course.
And he's made connections. So there are people that hook him up with, whatever it is he needs. I don't know all the specifics, but the guy's figured it out.
It's probably just a place to park and refill his water tank or something.
Yeah.
He is man. If
I want to interview that guy.
I was just going to say, I want to hear that story. Because
if you have a similar story, I want to talk to you.
What I want to know is at what point
Do you need a co-pilot? Do you have room for a Kawasaki on your rack?
No, at what point, like, were the kids in like 7th grade, and he's like, yeah, he starts the countdown. He's got a calendar,
so close.
He's like 8th grade. Okay, we're 1 year closer. Like
we're in high school now.
Yeah,
Should I do it now?
Yeah, was he just obviously was just waiting for it to to pull the plug, right? I mean, so anyways, that's.
So yeah, I'm really sore and exhausted. But that's how you can tell you had a good time, by how crappy you feel like for a couple of days afterward. And I'll tell you, I had a great time.
Well, while you had a great time in the dirt playing on your bike, we had a great time in Rancho Santa Margarita.
You guys did some stuff with some kids or something?
We did some stuff with rigs and kids.
Wait, what?
Go on.
Oh, you guys suck.
What?
You guys
You
suck.
did some with the kids and
rigs and kids with Rob DeMann at Rancho Santa in Rancho Santa Margarita.
Rigged some kids.
Santa Margarita Toyota.
Hey, just cut that out, dude.
Yeah, edit that.
Yeah,
it was really cool. So we got set up. We got out there early. Rob DeMann was there. Jose and I came out. Jose drove. We cruised the Land Cruiser down.
Hey, what do you think about how the Land Cruiser drives? I mean, it's an old car. What do you think? Like, would you drive that every day?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with what you were saying while we were driving. That you can tell the suspension is 25 years old. Mm-hmm. Like, you hit a.
Oh, you took the Land Cruiser down there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, you could tell the suspension was 25 years old, right? So I think next weekend when we start the upgrade with the Icon suspension on that thing, it's going to make a big difference. But man, it is for a 25-year-old vehicle. It's in great condition. It rides smooth. And I know it's got the 6-cylinder and you say it's kind of a dog, but for what we were doing, I mean, perfect, no issues with power. The only downside to driving it every day is it's got 4 miles to the gallon.
Right.
I mean,
no, that's on a good day.
So we went down, we got first spot. We picked a good spot, got plugged in. We got a bunch of our stuff connected and ready to go. Rob's son, Jesse, was helping us out with that. And then Brian from Icon came down. The guys from Boss Strongbox came down. And before the thing officially started at 10, and by 9:30, I don't know how much space there was left.
Yeah, the parking lot was like 80% full.
Yes,
already.
yeah, and 80% full with some really freaking nice rigs. I mean, there were some really sweet.
Just type in Overland Tacoma on the internet,
and that's the images. It was. But it was super cool. I mean, we had the opportunity to, sit down and have some conversations with, you'll hear the interviews coming up here. We had a conversation with Brian from Icon Alloys. Oh, and Brian brought us a sample of the Pro Baller energy drink he's been working on with a buddy. So we got to sample that. You'll hear that story in a minute. We spoke to Mike Mamic, who's one of the operating partners, owners of Santa Margarita Toyota, and Ryan from Boss Strongbox. But we'll start off with playing some of the intro from the conversation that we had, Jose and I had, as we got things started. All right, dude. So we are set up. We got to Santa Margarita Toyota at about 8:30 and got our tent set up.
Yep, we have the orange tent out here.
We do. We have the orange tent with the Nexon banner behind us, and we are staring at Icon Alloys and Strongbox. And is that the ice cream guy?
I think so.
Oh my goodness! I am so excited right now about ice cream. I love ice cream, dude.
You see like the parallels. When it's me and Jose, we're talking about beer and like beer stuff, and already like you and Jose, it's ice cream.
Oh, I think we get into the alcohol here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing better. Ice cream makes everything better, as far as I'm concerned. So you're starting to see people like Syndicate Yodas are rolling up. We just met Jesse Rizzo. He came up and said hi. Our buddy Dave.
Rob DeMann is here.
Obviously Rob DeMann is here. But Dave from Trail Adventures USA is here. It is not even.
He brought the whole offensive line that yelled Omaha last week or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Dave came with the family, but dude, it's not even 10 o'clock, and look at the parking lot's almost full.
It's almost full. Well, yeah, it's almost full. They're even double parking.
I know,
stacking on top of
super nice rigs too, dude. We're gonna have to take a walk and check
we brought the Land Cruiser out today, and maybe we should have brought your truck.
No, dude, your Land Cruiser is better than all of these rigs. I am hoping that there's a good turnout. It looks, based on what we're seeing now, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, man, I should have wore shorts too because it's hot today.
Dude, I was going to ask you when you rolled up, but you had pants on. I thought, that's cool. He probably brought shorts with him because I brought pants just in case it was cold.
Well, I saw it was going to be 80 degrees, but dude, it's like if you're standing in the sun.
Yeah, we are standing in the sun, and we're going to be running around here talking.
Party foul. My bad.
Maybe they sell some cool Toyota shorts in the parts house over here.
Whatever, dude. Shorter the better.
Do they have any Toyota Speedos for you to put on?
Toyota banana hammocks.
Oh, dude. So when we start marketing our tactical dad shorts, after our tactical dad shorts, the next line is going to be the tactical banana hammocks.
Hey.
But if they had Toyota banana hammocks, it would only say toy. Just so you know.
Well, so,
you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink.
Wink,
you know?
wink. And
I would have said Yoda.
One or the other, yes. Yoda
So I called
toy.
Tammy and said, "Hey, have you left the house yet?" She said, "No." I said, "Can you?" I told her, "Go in my closet. There's a pair of shorts." I said, "Can you bring Jose a pair of shorts?" She said, "Why? Did he poop himself?" And I said, "No, it's hot. And he didn't bring any shorts." She says, "I don't believe you. I think he pooped himself."
Exactly. You know that. Good for you, Jose. I think that's pretty awesome. That's the first, because I'd have thought the same thing. That's the impression you've made on us in the year that we've known you. It's the first thing is you think is Jose shit himself. Just at a.
Well, the best
What
part,
happened? Did he shoot himself?
Yeah, it wasn't even me and you. It was my wife.
I know.
No, Jose pooped himself, didn't he? Baby, just bring some shorts. So
Whatever. Just bring shorts.
so Tammy brought
He
in
doesn't
some
even
shorts.
care.
No, just bring me shorts.
Please.
Whatever the story, the
It was-
backstory is.
It was, dude. It was like it said it was going to be 80.
Well,
but
the thing is it was on blacktop.
blacktop. The sun was beating down right on us, and we were walking around. It was pretty hot. So Tammy brought him some shorts and made him feel better. So let's see what happens next.
We got
Check
some
this
pro
out.
ballers.
Some pro
Thank you,
baller.
sir.
Brian from Icon Alloys is working on with someone on this pro baller stuff. Tell me about the pro baller stuff.
So Cody, what we got here is Pro Baller Ultra Premium Energy Drink. So the idea behind this is that back in the day, we would go to the bars or not go to the bars, and we do a Red Bull and vodka, right? Yeah. So this is set up and teed up for a Pro Baller and tequila.
Okay.
The founder of this company is also the founder of Tres Siete Tequila and Cabo Chips. Okay. So this blend that was made here is a little
That's 37, by the way. Tres Siete?
Jose had to step in and make sure that we understood what Tres Siete means.
Right?
Yeah, it's 3 7s.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm surprised.
Just in case for our friends, friends to the south knows. So,
I'm like the token Mexican guy here.
But the great thing about this is it's tuned down a little bit on the toluene and the caffeine. It's comparable in.
I need those levels jacked up, dude.
That's where the tequila comes in place, Jose. Is that
So I will say that it's got a really light taste, like a light citrusy taste. It's not like an overpowering. Some of those have like the berry that are so sweet.
This tastes like a little bit of a sweeter squirt,
Oh, there you go.
like grapefruit.
Yeah. So what is it? We got 19 carbs. Tell me when the 0 carb one comes out. That's my style. I do the 0 carbs.
Looking at you, you eat a lot of carbs.
But I don't want to drink all the carbs. I want tortillas. I want to eat them.
I just want to thank you, Jose, for showing up and carrying on. Somebody's got to talk.
Hey, dude, just because
to
you're
Cody
gone,
like that.
doesn't mean it stops.
No, good job.
It has to continue.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
he did you
job.
proud. He did you proud. Yeah, I think, like I said, the light taste makes it like something you could sip all day long, kind of just like not as strong as some of the other ones. So
Exactly.
Thank you for the sample. I will be checking this out some more. Where
Yeah.
can people get it?
it'll be in stores by December. The distributors will be picking it up.
Yeah, so that was a chance for Brian had been posting that stuff on his social, and we've been back and forth talking about it. So thank you, Brian, for bringing a sample of that. We got to taste it.
Where's my sample?
In the garage.
Yeah, where's my sample with the tequila? I want the full experience.
How about we talk about that right now?
So yeah, dude, this is really good. Yeah, in all seriousness, I'm liking it. Like I said, I usually do the low carb stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I almost jerk. But and part of it's because the non low carb stuff, it tastes too sweet to me. I'm a Diet Coke drinker.
I don't know. Back in the day, dude, I used to drink a lot of Red Bull and vodka.
That surprises me, Jose. Really, I wouldn't know that about you.
And there was one day, I think I overdid it, and I think I almost had a heart attack.
Again, I wouldn't expect that from you. based on the time that I've known you, I could see you having a heart attack on Friday nights, like just as a normal. Let's see how close we could get to the emergency room, or like Matt, actually go to the emergency room.
He did go to the emergency room because he thought he had a heart attack.
Yeah, he thought he was having a heart attack. Too many Red Bulls, not enough vodka, I guess.
That's where he messed up.
So Matt, if you want to have that many Red Bulls, you gotta
even yourself
out with the alcohol.
So there's your advice, Matt.
Yeah,
we had you in our hearts while you were gone.
You go too strong on the Red Bull, man. You gotta be balanced.
Not anymore, dude. That was now I'm very mindful of my my stimulant intake now.
Oh, all right.
Who's that over there with that's a pretty cool pop-up tent they got set up back there on that 4Runner. Dude. What gen is that? Is that the 3rd gen?
It's a fourth gen.
4th gen?
Yep.
With a pop-up and a solar panel on top.
Snorkel. Those are the only V8 4Runners, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep. You get V8 ones.
Again, you with the knowledge nuggets.
Just
that's what your business card. I haven't decided what your business card's going to say on it.
The random stats.
Random knowledge master.
Yeah.
I got to figure out what your title will be.
Jack of all trades.
Ooh, there's a Rubicon over there, hardtop.
Yeah, dude. So I was going to say this is not a brand specific event.
No.
Can I give Jose?
Dave's here in his ZR2.
Yeah, he has the ZR2.
Can I give Jose a nickname like on the spot right now?
Yeah.
We'll call him the Noggin. Like that, the head, right?
Yeah, I know what
that was my name.
Okay.
That was my name back in college.
Aren't you still in college?
Well, one of the old college. He was the biggest truck here.
Yeah, no, seriously. And you look at that thing, and it's just its stance. That's interesting. So there's a 3rd gen Tacoma on either side of that ZR2.
Yes.
And if you look at the stance, it's just like beefier. And that's not knocking the Tacoma, because you know how much I love the Tacoma. It's just until you look at them side by side, you don't realize how beefy that front end is on that ZR2.
But yeah, people are starting to walk in.
People are rolling in. We got a nice Tacoma here rolling in.
I don't know. I might go home in a new 4Runner. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I'll drive the Land Cruiser home.
Yep.
You can keep it at my house for when Letty kicks you out, and you can come stay with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to follow me so I can pack all my stuff into both trucks, and then drive back to your house.
Tammy, Jose's living with us in the spare bedroom. You're gonna be living in the studio. We're gonna go in on Monday. What's that smell? I don't know. Jose's been living here for a week.
Don't ask questions, right? This is my new place.
Why does Jose have to smell right there? Why you just immediately?
I'm Mexican.
Is that what it is? That's so.
He eats a lot of beans and farts. What do you want from me? That's science.
Okay.
That is.
I just wanted an wanted an explanation.
That's biological.
It smells like tortillas all of a sudden.
And so thus far, I think we're like 3 or 4 minutes in. I don't hear any sticker reports. I better get some sticker.
Oh no, there's no sticker reports. We didn't do any sticker reports.
Oh, how do I know what kind of stickers were there, guys?
I take it back. We did for a period of time talk about Kevin from Shred and Tread on Instagram, how he has his white Tacoma with the black and red decals, and then his mountain bike is attached to it with the black and red decals. Like he's got a whole black and red
good.
Shred and Tread.
Did we interview him about his decals?
We talked to him. We did not talk to him about the decals specifically.
Guys, we are an off-road lifestyle and sticker Nation podcast. That's what
Dude,
we're known
I need
for.
to add that to our iTunes description. So when people start searching for
Sticker
Sticker Nation,
Just put like we like stickers.
people do a search on iTunes for Sticker Nation. They were like, "Have you heard the Trail Chaser podcast? We talk about stickers."
You guys love stickers.
So from there, I mean, that's pretty much the intro piece that we did, and from there,
Did you guys talk about any pop culture movies or anything like that?
No, you know,
You guys didn't get into Goonies, or talk about anything else.
So two things: there was no alcohol consumed, so that changes
That's
the
disappointing.
Yeah, that changes.
I don't even want to listen to the rest of this. Why?
And Jose and I talked about it. It seemed like it went fast. I mean, it was from 10
Dude,
to 2.
it-
But it was like once we got set up, we started talking to people. It was just like constant.
It was crazy. Yeah, like I was telling Cody, we got there, we set up, we got there, we set up. People were already there at 10 when it was supposed to start. It was already packed. Then by the time we got to the raffle, it was already 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened in between 10 and 1. Like we were just walking around, and then it went by so fast.
It literally, it was like boom, 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 and then it was time for the raffle. And Rob, man, he put together a good set of raffle prizes for people. Some gift cards, a bunch of like a remote start kit, some. Dave from Trail Adventures USA donated a nice picnic bench and a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Did Toyota Rancho Santa Margarita kick down a Toyota Highlander or a
But they kicked down
new Tacoma?
No, they kicked down 2 oil changes, oil filter
some
and oil change.
Yeah, from lube jobs and
2 lube jobs
and a bunch of
and oil changes.
and it was so we did the raffle at the end, and we were having random people pick stuff, and then at some point Presley decided she wanted to pick stuff. Dude, I gotta tell you, man, this is a proud father moment here. Like,
Cody's about to cry.
Yeah, you're gonna cry again.
no, but so
I like how we just throw again in there. He's
never even cried.
Because it implies it's happened. I love it.
that's my
Come
thing.
the waterworks.
Yeah. But so she pulls the tickets and she started reading the numbers. And like screaming the numbers into the microphone. She didn't even need the microphone, and it was great, man. It was so funny. It was there was a couple videos on Instagram people were posting. It was adorable. But Rob gave away a bunch of stuff, and people stuck around for a little bit. And overall, very successful event for Rob, and I think that it's just a testament to the community down in that area. And you throw out an invite, people show up, man,
For sure.
And, I'm sure, like, having some conversations afterwards, Rob said that he wanted to do some more stuff. I'm sure there will be more in the future, and hopefully we get to be involved and participate with that some more. I mean, it really gave us a chance to meet some new people, talk to some people. We sold some hats and shirts, gave out some stickers and stuff. And, I think just being at these events, whether it be Expo, something as large as Expo, or something that's a little bit more intimate like this, it's really cool to get out from behind the microphone and be able to actually have conversations with people that listen to the show, right? We had Mike and Albert come down. Like I said, Dave came down, Jesse Rizzo.
I thought you were going to start going down that road like, it's just good to come down and be with the people. Like we're just
Is he running for office or what?
we're on some high horse or something.
No, just, I mean...
That's what it sounded like at first. Like, oh yeah, do it. Go for it.
No.
Go all the way.
Like the three of us have talked about this when we so we're sitting in the studio, spare bedroom, on a Monday night recording this. It's very one way. We're talking into microphones and hopefully people listen to it. We don't get feedback until someone listens to the show and sends us an email or
leaves a review,
Instagram or social media contact, or but when we get to have those conversations with people face to face, it's very it's easier for us to, oh yeah, they talked about this and we talked about that, and they talk to us about some of the topics we've touched on the show. It's just really cool to be able to do that. I really enjoy that, so we're hoping to do more of that. With that in mind, there's probably 1,000 events between now and December, the end of the year.
There is.
At the time of release for this should come out on
The 17th.
the 17th, October 17th, 2019. On the 18th, Empire Jeep Club is doing a trunk or treat event in Ontario Friday night. And then on the 19th, Syndicate Jeep Club, Syndicate Off-Road is doing their trunk or treat in Temecula at 4 Wheel Parts on that Saturday night. So if you're local to Southern California and you have the opportunity to go meet up with those guys at those events, go do it. I mean, we got to participate in the trunk or treat at Empire Jeep Club last year at Mountain Mike's and was fantastic. Those guys put on a great event. It was pretty big. This parking lot's even bigger. And having some chat with those guys, it sounds like it's going to be a much bigger event. Really, really enjoyed it. Tammy and Presley and I are going to try to make it to that one. We can't go to the one on the 19th. We already have a commitment, but overall, I think now's the season where you're going to start to see trunk or treat events, Toys for Tots events, that kind of stuff. And we will be trying to keep you guys updated on that stuff. So if you are a club or a vendor or a facility, or you have an event, send us an email, leave us a voicemail, 951-394-DIRT. Talk to us about your event so that we can help promote it for you. We want to get, as many people in the community to participate in those things as possible. But, overall, again, Rob, thank you so much for joining us. Jose, thank you for being there. Matt, you suck for not.
Mm-hmm. Just for that? I suck?
No. I mean, we'll just add
on
that
top
to
of
the
that.
list. Yeah.
I thought I was, whittling the list down.
No. But it sounds like you had a good time. I'm glad you got to go.
I got to blow it out, dude. I got to,
Didn't you
what? Have a really good time with my friends.
You hobbed and knobbed?
I did.
Oh, I hope not. It was a guy's trip.
This was not one of those occasions where you want to hob and knob. None of those dudes. I was just thinking, maybe I should start my own club. Like a Nissan club?
The Hobnob
The
Club?
Hobnobbers?
No, the San Jacinto Frontier Club. Right? That'd be pretty rad.
I don't.
That's called a callback. You got to go back a few episodes to get that one.
I don't know that you would get many participants.
Well, didn't we talk last week that that's probably where all the Nissans
That's where your
are, right?
heavy demographic.
No. It's not that there's no Nissans in that area. They just don't want to hang out with you.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, never mind. No, you know what? I don't have enough time to start clubs. Nobody wants to hang out with me anyhow.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trail Chasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott.
And of course, we're here talking about Icon. We are, wheels designed with suspension in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jose and I were talking a minute ago, the idea about the whole concept of where we come from is that we take a holistic approach towards the vehicle.
Yeah.
Looking at the components and trying to make them better. Putting the wheel in place for us, which is Icon Alloys, was a natural progression because of all the problems of fitment. We were running suspension kits and we put them in place and the wheels weren't working.
Yeah.
Turning radiuses weren't working. Articulation wasn't working. So the engineers took a lot of time to make sure that the wheels that we put out there make sure that they fit with our suspension kits and their performance. And
yeah, and it's a, like you said, the holistic approach. I love that idea. I love what Icon's doing with that, and we're huge fans of Icon as a brand. We got the chance to ride on the suspension. You've heard us talk about it a bunch. This guy went and bought some with his own hard-earned money that we have to install in the next couple of weeks. But it's been great watching what Icon's doing, and we're trying to continue our relationship with you and Jeremy and Icon as a whole. So we appreciate you hanging out with us today. I think just by the initial turnout, like I said, it's not even 10 o'clock. I think we're going to be okay. We got a lot of kids coming up because I think they saw the free ice cream was happening. But yeah, dude, this is great. Thanks for coming out. All right, everybody, we are at the Rigs and Kids event in Santa Margarita, at Santa Margarita Toyota with Mike Mamic. Mike is here. He's one of the managing partners.
Yeah.
Managing partners of Santa Margarita Toyota. And first of all, thank you so much for collaborating with Rob and letting this happen. This is very cool. You guys cleared out a big old area for us to fill up, and I think we've already filled it. So thanks so much for that. Tell me about the dealership.
Well, first off, thank you for coming here. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about how many rigs we got out here. I mean, we've got 8 acres here, so of vehicles, so we got a lot of space. So I'm glad that we're all here. Some pretty cool cars too. Trucks.
Very cool, man. Like I said, at 9 we got here at 8:30 to set up, and I'm glad that we did because by 9:30 half this place is already filled with some really cool trucks.
That's crazy. So yeah. So anyways, well, what's our story? We've been here. This dealership was originally built by the Penske's.
Okay.
And we're actually the 4th owners. We took over in March of 2016.
Okay.
And it's a huge facility.
Yes.
And definitely it was a fix me up store. And one of the things that we recognized early is that this was not a truck store.
Okay.
And so it was really important for us to be both a car and a truck market because we also own the Ford dealership an eighth of a tenth mile down the street.
Okay.
And we're huge in the truck business over there. In fact, we even brought one of our beautiful Raptors
Yeah, the
over
new
here.
Raptor and Ranger. I saw that roll up. So
yeah, which are really cool. And which, by the way, to throw in a little Ford plug, is we're one of the top-selling dealers in the nation on Ford Raptors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Very cool. So you got the Toyota stuff and the Ford stuff. That's great.
Yeah, and we're probably one of the only dealers also we're not only are we not selling the Raptors at MSRP, they're actually we're selling them below MSRP.
Oh, nice.
Because we're trying to just make it up on volume, and Ford's recognize that, and that's why they've given us as many as we have.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool. On the Toyota side, going back to that, one of the things that we decided to do is we wanted to be Orange County's only negotiation-free Toyota store.
Oh.
And we launched that in February, and it was kind of a slow start, and I think the biggest thing is kind of getting the word out.
Yeah.
But once it's been getting legs, people have been coming in, and I mean our reviews reflect that, and they really like coming into a car dealership and seeing what our lowest price is posted right on the window.
Yeah.
And that's what they pay.
I'm sure that helps streamline the process of getting a vehicle and all that, right?
Oh, absolutely. We right now, we're. I'm not proud of this, but our average transaction time is still about 3 hours. My goal is to get it in an hour.
Yeah.
We're not doing this yet, but at some point, it's gonna be one point of contact, one salesperson who's gonna take you from beginning till end. There's not gonna go to finance, no nothing. He'll do everything right from his desk.
That'd be cool. Even 3 hours though. That's commendable. I mean, I was with Matt when he bought his Frontier at a dealership. And I was watching my nephews for like 6 hours. I mean, literally, I ended up taking them to get food because it took so long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think 3 hours is a reasonable compromise at this point. What kind of things are you guys working on now that people should be aware of?
Well, our primary focus is the easy price, and what we do. Well, let me explain to you how we price them.
Okay.
So that's because people always ask that. They're like, I don't know, this doesn't, I think I can get this car cheaper. And in fact, I just now finally got together. It took me about 6 months. I've got data now to support that. On average, our customers are saving about $1,189 per transaction.
Oh.
Because a lot of times people think, people are like, oh, I got a great deal, and then she was
but I think people forget about that part. They're like, oh, we'll give you the car for X amount, but then when you tack all that other stuff on, I would think the dealer's making up whatever the discount was they gave them on the car up front. Is that accurate? So is that where the easy pricing comes in? All that stuff is easy all the way through, as opposed to trying to make up more money down the road?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. And I tell everybody, they say, because you dealers like, oh, you got us. We're losing money on you. I go, come on. I go, that's a lie.
Yeah.
We got to make money. I'm in business to make money, right? And I said, but it's going to be a fair deal. It's going to be a fair deal for you. It's going to be a fair deal for your neighbor. It's going to be the same price.
Yeah.
So whether you come in or my son comes in, we're going to sell it to him for the same exact price.
Yeah.
And so it's really transparent, and the customers are really seeing the value in that, and knowing that you could leave a car dealership with some dignity still.
Yeah. This is awesome. I mean, this, like you said, you're on 8 acres here. The dealership is giant. I went walking in through the showroom. You've got a couple really nice cars in there. I was checking out the Highlander and RAV4 for my wife. I think she wants something new soon, and I'd love to get her into a TRD 4Runner, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Because if I get her TRD 4Runner, she knows I'm going to take it off road. But there's plenty of stuff down here. I mean, what's the where are you guys at on social media and website so people can go check you out before they come down and meet you?
Well, obviously our website is smtoyota.com. Our social media is also Santa Margarita Toyota. And then our Instagram. I actually don't know what my Instagram.
I think it's SM Toyota.
I think it's
I think it's SM Toyota because we've tagged you in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So anyways, we try to do everything, and I think we even have a Snapchat account, which my kids play with, but I could be wrong.
That's funny. I haven't gotten that far. I don't know how to do the Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I might be saying it wrong. Maybe it's Turtle Chat. I don't know.
That's funny. Well, this is again super stoked on this. I mean, we're filling up your spot really quick here. Service is open today. I saw that.
So service too. We'll probably take in about 120 cars today.
Wow.
Right now, Toyota's gotten a big promotion. They're doing the buy 3 tires, get 1 free.
Okay.
And the customers really gravitate towards that, and they really like it. But we have a beautiful, beautiful service department. And they do really good. They're getting people in and out on a basic service in about an hour or
no
less.
Kidding.
Which is almost unheard of for a dealership.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dealership, you're like, I'll drop it off Saturday, pick it up Tuesday. I mean, if you guys are doing it that fast, that's a huge benefit for everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
What time do they open on Saturdays?
8 to 4.
Yeah.
And you saw this morning people came in.
People lined up. Yeah. People lined up coming in.
Get them in, get them out.
And what hours during the week?
The service department is Monday through Friday is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then Saturdays 8 to 4. And then sales, we're here the same time. But I'm sorry, during the week we close at 9.
Okay.
On Sundays we close at 7.
Okay, very cool.
So it's and I like all the products. Toyota, by the way, I was at the Toyota show, dealer show, and they kind of showed us a shadow of the 2021 Tundra.
Oh.
And it's going to be they originally people were talking about diesels, and Toyota said no. This is the gas mileage on this and the performance is going to be so good. It's not going to be a diesel, and they didn't say what it was going to be, and so we're all kind of guessing. I don't know. I think it's going to be a plug-in.
You think?
I really do.
Hybrid?
I think it's
really?
going to be. You think it's going to be high? I don't know. I think it's going to
have the DeLorean from Back to the Future where you put the food in the blender thing, the food processor. Mr. Fusion. That's what it was. Very cool. The Mr. Fusion Tundra 2021. That'd be awesome. Well, very cool, man. I really do appreciate it. We'll be walking around and talking to the people around here. If there's anybody else from your organization you want us to talk to, let us know. But man, this is great. I appreciate your time and thank you so much. Thanks for hosting us.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for guys coming.
All right, we're at the Kids and Rigs event, Santa Margarita Toyota with Rob DeMann. I'm here with Ryan, standing in front of his Toyota 4Runner, looking at this Boss Strong box. Talk to me about it, man.
Yes, well, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, so this is our 4Runner box. It's specifically made for the 5th gen. It does work in the 4th, but it was made for the 5th.
Okay.
It's a lighter weight version of what we normally do in the law enforcement industry. So just give you a little bit of background into how we got started.
Okay.
We do a lot of boxes for law enforcement and federal agencies for the last 10 years. And
Got
over
it.
the last year, we've been getting into this market. Every tactical show that we go to with all these LE guys, they're like, I need one for my 4Runner. I need one for my Tacoma. So we're like, okay, we need to.
Because I'm going to make the assumption that there's a big cross section there. You know, law enforcement guys are also a lot of times outdoors guys, shooter guys. You know, what I mean, this kind of equipment is what they need we all need when we're on the trail.
Exactly. And so what we had for that LE side was too heavy. We got a lot of good feedback from a lot of good influencers, and they said I need a lighter weight. And it needs to be right. Easy to install, lightweight version, and then at a price point. So this system that we're looking at right now is for the 4Runner, like we said, 5th gen. It MSRP is at $995.
Okay.
It's a plug-and-play system. You just use turnbuckles to existing D-rings in the floor.
Yeah.
You don't have to bolt anything, drill any holes or anything like that.
Nice.
So it's an easy system to go into and again, it's all steel.
So it's so looking at it. So the turnbuckles, just picture your existing tie downs on the back of the 4Runner.
Yep.
And you throw a turnbuckle with a couple hooks on either end and tuck it in, and you still have access to your power outlet over here on the side.
You could probably get to your you got your jack and everything here.
Okay.
But and then you got 2 turnbuckles on the back too.
Okay.
Sent down. So what's different about ours compared to what's out there, ours is a single drawer. Most systems out there are 2-drawer systems.
Yeah.
So we do a single drawer. It gives you more storage space. So if you actually look at it, there's a lot more storage space
with
in
a
this.
2-drawer, you lose that 4 to 6 inches in the middle for the mechanism for the
rails,
rail and
the
everything.
slides,
Yeah,
everything like that. So it's still a single drawer, 250-pound capacity on the slides.
What's the weight of the unit itself?
115 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, again, compared to what we had in the past, which was like, or not had it in the past, but for the LE side, it's 190 pounds.
Yeah.
Same kind of shape and
Yeah.
So, and then out there, there's other ones made out of wood and plastic, but ours is, again, 16 gauge steel. We build ours for security. This one would be kind of a lighter security just because of the open frame.
Yep.
But it's still got a lock.
Well, yeah, I'd still say, I mean, looking at the drawer, you
This is our little stop over here for
our
braking
nice. I like that.
mechanism. Yeah.
So you're looking at the drawer. Once that thing's in and locked, and it's a nice, strong locking mechanism. If someone were to, if you left your hatch open, or someone were to get in here, they're not getting in that box easily. I mean, anybody can get into anything if they want to hard enough, right? I mean,
our thing's time and tools.
Yeah, exactly. You give anybody enough time and tools, they'll get through it. But from a security perspective, I mean, you could, if this was open and you left it here, no one's going to get into it.
No,
I like the slide mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. It's got to stop. I like that. So it's got to stop. So if you're at a tilt, it won't roll back in.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's our it's instead of doing like AccuRides with the brakes on the slides and stuff. Just again to get at a price point.
Yeah.
We just have to be a little bit.
Well, no, I mean
and it still works.
That is absolutely functional.
Right,
absolutely.
exactly.
And does it come with the lining normally?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Comes with the carpet on top and on bottom. All the hardware comes with it.
Weight capacity on the top here once you put it in.
So I haven't actually tested it
a lot
failure.
Yeah, so you can do.
But I've laid on it, I've stood on it, and we've opened.
So
the
what
drawer
normal people would normally put in their SUV, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we've had it. Like I said, we just launched this. We just got done with production in August. So we prototyped early this year. Kind of announced it at Overland Expo West. Got good feedback, made a couple adjustments, and then went into production. We have them in stock, ready to go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So this one is specifically for the 5th gen, fifth and fits 4th.
Yes.
What other products do you guys have for this market?
So a lot of our other stuff right now is like here's one right here. Here's one of our top loaders. Let me move this. All right. So this is a top loader system.
Oh, okay. So that's like a universal. Yeah, it's a universal box with 2 barrel locks on it.
Yep.
I like the American flag decal is nice and a nice add to it.
Yes.
So are these weatherproof? Can you put these outside?
We usually no.
Okay.
I mean, they're not built with that in mind. 'Cause,
Yeah.
again, most of the stuff that we've done in the past has been for law enforcement, so it's in SUVs and in the back of trunks and stuff like that.
I would be so.
But
if I still had a Jeep, I would be more than willing to put this in the back of my Jeep
Right.
because it gives me a solid lock.
Right.
And it's weatherproof enough to if
Exactly.
it rains, I should be putting my top
Exactly.
on. Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, that's very cool.
So in terms of like our other line, like you said, it's universal. Most of our other boxes are universal. So as long as you have the space available, we just measure it out and figure out what's going to be the best thing.
I've seen people. Sorry to cut you off, but I've seen people in their Tacoma basically either permanently fold up, or take out the back seat.
do the fold
This would be
delete.
one of the perfect
Right.
sit back there as a lock box for
Exactly.
security. And then what's this guy? This little guy.
That's our little pistol box.
Okay.
So we have 2 versions
Wow,
of
that's
this right now.
stout.
Yeah, it's
That is not going anywhere, man. If
Yeah,
you
you
can't
gotta
get the
be
gun
careful.
out,
Yeah,
you can beat someone in the head with it. I mean, that's to be like, I don't need the gun. I'm just
Yeah,
going to start smacking people with
That's
it.
right.
Run out of ammo.
No, seriously, that is, man. You put special things in there like that's serious.
We build it for security purposes. I mean, and again, it's
And
compared to others out there. That's
And
you
so
can
is
tell
this,
the difference.
Is this mountable? Like,
Yep.
is there?
So
there's
you
a
got
bunch of
4
different
holes
bolts
underneath there. You can mount it again if you have the space available. Watch out, this thing with it. We go out shows and people will do that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that thing. I'm
Crush
sure
their
that
hands
thing.
and
You'll
it's
lose a
the worst.
knuckle. This thing is serious. That's how stout this thing's built,
This
man.
is 2, but we have the gas.
Oh, the
spring
gas.
to-
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Hold it, but
Wow, this is great stuff, man. This is
appreciate
really really impressive. The build quality.
it's
of
all
stuff.
made right here in America. Everything's USA made. We're just right up the street. We're actually our warehouse and distribution center is like right here, on the other side of Toyota.
Okay.
And then, we make them just right up the road. So,
All right, and everybody can find you at Boss Strongbox, right?
BossStrongbox.com, at BossStrongbox on Instagram. That's where you get to see a lot more of the photos and everything that we have out there in this market.
Yeah, very cool, man. This is I think for a lot of people that are doing the stuff that we're doing, the off-roading and stuff. Not only does this provide the security, but the storage, and still be able to put your duffel bags and sleeping bags and stuff on top.
Whatever. Yeah,
So
exactly.
very cool, man. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm
Yes.
sure people will be heading your way to check this stuff out, man.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hey everybody, we have Tony May on the video chat. We've got his beautiful big beard on our TV here in the studio, which he's stroking and making me feel jealous because I don't think I've hit puberty yet. We met Tony at the Off-Road Expo, and if you listen to the Off-Road Expo recap, you hear where Tony just kind of completely takes over the Trail Chaser podcast with all the microphones and the gimbal and the whole thing, and it was a really good conversation. We wanted to talk to him some more. So how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
I went on break right there when he took over. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
It does make it easier when I literally grabbed both microphones from you guys and said, all right, I'm taking over.
Yeah, we could have easily gone and got a corn on a hot dog on a stick and kind of relaxed, but it didn't.
I would have just gone and interviewed Joe from Nexon Tires, or Paul Joe. I said Joe. Paul Joe.
Paul Joe.
I'd have been like, hey, Paul, so I've taken over the Trail Chasers podcast. What would you like to talk about this afternoon?
That would be, he would probably panic a little bit. He wouldn't know what to do with himself.
I was going to say, Tony was probably thinking, I want to stress these guys out right now by taking the mics. In fact, you're doing us a favor.
Yeah, we're like, go for it. Do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So Tony is from Jeep Nation TV. You can find that at jeepnationtv.com. They're also on Instagram, Jeep Nation TV, YouTube, Jeep Nation, and Jeep Nation on Facebook. Just quickly,
Jeep Nation TV on Facebook.
I'm sorry, Jeep Nation TV on Facebook. What is Jeep Nation TV?
I have no idea.
Sweet.
I'm hoping somebody will tell me soon.
It's a good URL, though. Save it, because I'm sure we could do something with it.
Might be able to sell it to somebody for like $4. Cost me $12 to buy. No, So Jeep Nation TV is a family-friendly custom Jeep build show. The way I tend to describe it to dealerships and sponsors and other people when I'm first talking about the show is think American Chopper meets Jeep meets Duck Dynasty. It is family-friendly, brand-safe entertainment that is all about custom Jeep builds.
Oh, so wow.
That's the short version of what Jeep Nation TV is by itself.
And when did that start?
Mike and I kind of launched the concept in 2013. I don't remember exactly when in 2013, but it was sometime in 2013 we launched it and put up the social media platforms and said, hey, we had this idea. It wasn't just going to be, oh, let's throw up an Instagram page and see what happens. There actually was a whole purpose behind doing all this stuff, and it was just a matter of, okay, let's lock down Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our Twitter is also Jeep Nation TV, but I'll be honest with you, I've probably tweeted 6 times on the channel.
Seriously, side note here. Does anybody use Twitter? I tried to go on it yesterday to try to see
Only if you're looking to pick fights with people or if you want to get made fun of.
I use it for news.
That's exactly where you go.
I went on it this weekend just to see if there was any activity on our account, and after like 30 seconds, I was so frustrated. I just forget it. We're an Instagram show.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny. I had a conversation with Tim Croma from BF Goodrich. Sorry, Paul, to mention the entire company on a show that you sponsor. But he and I were actually having a conversation about this, and he goes, I don't even look at anybody's Twitter numbers anymore. He's like, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and whatever else you got going as far as live on-site activations.
Yeah.
It's like, your Twitter numbers don't even matter to me. I'm like, duly noted. And I'll be honest with you, as 2 years ago when I was thinking about doing some of this stuff, I was like, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram, and that's been kind of it for us.
Yeah, that's where we've done our put our focus too. So when you talk about the Jeep Nation TV being a family-friendly build show, what kind of builds are people doing, and who is it that's doing the builds?
So normally, we've got some that have been outside of typical, but for the most part, they're all Jeep dealerships where we're doing the builds. We'll actually send all the parts in. We've got some fantastic sponsors, like Paul Joe from Nexen Tires. But no, we've got some great folks that we've been blessed to be able to work with over the years. Lots of different folks in the industry. And so what we'll do is I'll sit and kind of sketch some things in my office and just go, okay, what kind of theme are we going to do? We're going to do a Firehouse Edition, or we're going to do a Jeep Islander tribute or something like that. And I'll just kind of sketch some things and go, this is kind of the vibe I want. This color Jeep I want to do. These are the bumpers. This is, if we're going to send parts that need to get painted, these are the things that we're going to get painted and what color we're going to paint them. So in many respects, I consider myself not so much a Jeep builder, but a Jeep designer from that standpoint, theme designer. And then because we're doing the vast majority of the builds at dealerships, I actually encourage the dealerships to just go ahead and have their techs do the work, even if I have the ability to do this stuff. I'm like, for warranty purposes, for everything else, protecting the dealership's interests, from the get-go, we've just said, why don't we just have the dealerships do the actual installation on this stuff, and that'll be better for them. So whether, if we're at a shop, the guys at the shop do it. If we're at one of the dealerships, the guys in the dealership actually do the install on that stuff. And then Mike and I, or whoever else we're bringing in to co-host with me, we'll kind of go do some funny, family-friendly shenanigans. Like if you watch the Firehouse Edition, I'm chasing a fire truck, early on in the episode, and I get a lot of people that go, "You look like you're about to get run over by the fire truck." The funny thing is, I was actually a lot further away from that fire truck than people realized. But
Really?
Everybody who watches that episode, you look like you're about to get killed.
Man, that sounds like a good episode.
Anytime you're about to get killed, you got to watch that one. So how do you pick the dealerships? How do you choose? Walk me through that process. What's the process of starting a build at a dealership? And I'm assuming you're there as they're making the progress, and you clip it all together afterwards.
Yeah. So the process of picking the dealership is, to a certain degree, Mike and I kind of look at it and go, where do we want to go on vacation for a few days?
Nice.
Oh, wow.
In all
Hawaii.
seriousness, though, we do
A lot of Hawaii episodes.
Hawaii episode.
Yeah, trust me, we've been trying for that one. No, for part of it is, we want to make sure that we're going to dealerships that are actually doing spec builds for their clientele. If they're not doing much in the way of spec builds, they're not to say that they're not really embracing the Jeep community. The Jeep community the custom side of the Jeep community just may not be super big in their area.
Yeah.
And so we'll just, there's certain markets we've already identified where we know Jeeping is big. We filmed a lot in Oklahoma. We filmed north of Chicago. We've been down in Florida, here in Georgia. We've been in Pennsylvania. We've been in Jersey. We've been all over the place. And, so we've got some other places that are kind of on our target list of where we want to go. And so, honestly, it's just, like a lot of guys, it's like I'm still picking up the phone and making sales calls. It's a sales call thing. I got to get on the phone and talk to the dealerships and see if they want to do something. And so for any of you dealerships from coast to coast, from California to Connecticut, we'd love to come see you.
And Hawaii. Hawaii. You didn't throw Hawaii out there.
Yeah.
It's not going to
I'm very
happen.
partial to Lahaina, but, I'm down for whatever
Yes,
city
sir.
over there you guys want us to do.
Conopoli.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and in all seriousness, we've looked at this and said, this is not Jeep Atlanta, this is not Jeep Georgia, this is Jeep Nation. And from that standpoint, you got 7 slots on the vehicle. We don't even look at this as this is Jeep US. This is, Jeep Nation is, stick a giant flag with the Jeep Nation logo.
Yeah.
Floating in the breeze. We want to do some stuff in Western Europe. We want to, honestly, as much as I love this constitutional republic we get to live in, I want to go to Russia. I want to go to Japan. I want to do something
South
in Tokyo
America
and over in Hong Kong. South America's got just a huge Jeep market. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Australia.
We've talked to some guys down in the Caribbean, Australia for sure. Canada, but it doesn't count because it's attached. And that's only funny. That's only funny if you've seen the movie and you can identify the movie in the comments. you totally should comment on the Trail Chasers podcast comment section. Let me know if you figured out what
I don't know
movie
that. Do you know
was
that
from.
one? It doesn't count because it's attached. I'll have to look that one up. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's drawn a blank.
No, what I wanted to ask for those dealerships that are not like aftermarket heavy, do you guys go big on like the Jeep, their own products? I know they sell like they have a whole catalog where you can upgrade your Jeep with brand
The
specific,
Mopar stuff
the Mopar parts like after.
Yeah. Mopar would need to be a sponsor. So we've got, we've done stuff with different tire companies and bumper companies and wheel companies and all that. And honestly, those aftermarket companies, they all actually compete with Mopar. So Mopar obviously is what the dealerships are pushing, and so that totally makes sense. And honestly, like I love the Mopar stuff, but Mopar's not sponsoring the show. So if Mopar did sponsor the show, then yes, of course. And there are some dealerships that only do stuff with Mopar stuff, and it's I understand that, and they've got different varied reasons for sticking with that. Some dealerships just don't do much in the way of aftermarket, even with Mopar. So it's kind of a trial and error thing, picking up the phone and talking to people, and you find out.
I'd like to put in a plug.
Find out what works, and
I'd like to put in a plug for Redlands Jeep, our friends over at Redlands Jeep here in Southern California. They're in the heart of the off-roading area here in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, right at the base of the mountain. They've done a lot of work with Icon Vehicle Dynamics and our local one of our local off-road clubs, Syndicate Off-Road, and we interviewed them a couple weeks ago just briefly at an event, and they were fully pumped about being part of the community and participating. So plug out to the guy Carlos and the guys over at Redlands Jeep. We can recommend you reach out to them. I bet they'd be on board with what you're doing. Okay. So we will Redlands Jeep. You're probably listening to this show. Let's connect. So we'll make sure that happens. So all of this sounds awesome. I mean, this is a great idea. I love the concept. I love the grassroots of it. I love the fact that you started this 2013 and you're building it from the ground up. What were you doing prior to this inside this community, the Jeep community, and what was the catalyst that caused you to jump head first into this?
Well, I had a conversation with a motivational speaker named Matt Foley. At the time he was living in a van down by the river. And,
it's a shame he's not around to give us more
it
motivation.
didn't end up too well for old Matt, if I remember right.
I don't know how that van. What happened to the van? Does anybody know what happened to his van?
No, but a side note, I remember
Kevin and find out
when Chris Farley died. Side note. I'm in construction. We were doing a Starbucks at the time, and the cabinet guy, they announced it on the radio, and the cabinet guy put his head down, and he sat there for like 15 minutes, like shaking his head. He couldn't believe it. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong? Dude, they just said Chris Farley died. I'm all, I know, but I mean, is that it? He's like, yeah. And then so he shook his head for a couple more minutes. I got to go home, guys. I can't work today.
No, wow.
Yeah. So he was devastated.
Wow, that's
tangent.
Who knows?
That's what we do on this show.
Yes.
As we break down tangents. So
okay. So what were you doing prior to the Van by the River discussion?
Yeah. So I had been working in advertising. I've been working as a creative director in the ad agency world, and it's to go back a lot further. When I was 7 years old, I actually started acting. Did my first acting gig when I was 7 years old. I was in a movie called Bogey. It was about the life of Humphrey Bogart. And, little trivia, fun fact, Drew Barrymore played my sister in that. So,
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I played Stephen Bogart. She played Sarah Bogart. And so some people get weird about saying being honest about how old they are. I'm 47. I've been in front of a camera for 40 freaking years.
Wow.
That's a little bit crazy to think about doing that. But, so I went from that whole world to getting involved in, concert production and then concert marketing and then marketing and advertising. And then next thing you know, I'm just working as a creative director in the ad agency space. And honestly, at 17, I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know what the path was going to be. I was in a band with a buddy of mine, Mike Setzer, and he and I were jamming one night at my
Is that
my parents' garage.
Brian Setzer's brother?
He's so funny. Oh, bro, I wish. Oh my God.
I loved Brian Setzer.
Dude, that guy is just like, I would love to just be on stage and sing one song with that guy. I think I would love to rock that town just once.
Absolutely.
That would just be amazing. But, I remember Mike going, so like, bro, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, he sounded like that when we were 17. I'm like, he still sounds like that to this day. Love the guy. But he asked me an interesting question. It's the $1 million question. People get asked all the time. What would you do if you could do anything? And all the obstacles were removed from you. At 17, I knew. So for me, it's always been about getting to the place where I could run my own entertainment company. What that path would ultimately look like to get there was the great mystery.
Yeah.
I didn't have my parents shoving me into the entertainment industry. It was more, hey, when you're 16, you can go figure it out on your own. I was like, okay, so at 16, you don't really have the skills to figure that out.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have, parents are like shoving you, these momagers that shove their kids into the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a go figure it out. Well, here I am this many years later. I figured out some things along the way, and I've made some amazing relationships. And, I would say probably about 3 years ago, I figured out, maybe 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I figured out kind of what that path was going to look like. And when I left the ad agency world without a safety net, I don't have a rich uncle. I don't make bazillions of dollars, although I'm not opposed to that. I would gladly donate to the Trail Chasers podcast.
And if anybody's
Sign me up
looking
as a
for a
sponsor,
nephew,
boys.
if any rich uncles out there are looking for a nephew, hit
We
us
would
up.
gladly accept any donations.
Right. So, no rich uncle, no bank loan, no VC funding, nothing crazy like that. Just straight up hardcore hustle, trial and error, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And kind of what I knew is that I wanted to make the Jeep Nation show concept work. I was like, if I can figure out how to produce Jeep Nation and be able to support my family doing that, my wife's a stay-at-home mom with our boys. If I could figure this out, then I could, to a certain degree, rubber stamp the concept. So we've also got a truck version of Jeep Nation, which is called American Super Trucks.
Yep.
And Mike Stout, who co-hosts with me on Jeep Nation, he co-hosts with another actor friend of ours, Stephen Reddington. Very funny actor, very talented, insanely talented. He was on The Resident on Fox until they killed off his character. Why did you have to kill off his character? So anyway, Jeep Nation, American Super Trucks, and that whole idea was out of a desire to not just run an entertainment company, because I think that's just sort of okay, I can check that box now. I've got a couple shows that we're producing and okay, there it is. I've figured it out. For me, it's about making family-friendly entertainment for the masses. I look at a lot of, there's a lot of stuff I think that Hollywood makes that is fantastic. And there's a lot that comes out of Hollywood that I'm kind of like,
yeah,
you're kind of missing the mark on some things.
Yeah.
I think there's an audience for a lot of different things, but
yeah, some of those shows though, you look at and you go, who's watching this? Seriously, I want to know who is watching.
Real.
Like, who is the people that is spending this half hour watching this? Because we need to like quarantine them into an area.
If you're talking about Property Brothers, you're talking to me right here, bro. Property Brothers all day, every day.
No, I'm not talking about Property Brothers. No.
Love it or list it.
You know how you're spending your time.
Yeah, exactly. So as the concept is let's go back to 2013, and as you're developing this concept and you leave the ad agency world with no real safety net, did you know how you were going to get from the starting point to where you're at now?
At the time that I left, yes. It's if you want to if you guys want to turn Trail Chasers podcast into something big, there are guys the trail before you. You got fantastic guys that have great networks. You got Adam Carolla and a bunch of these other guys that are doing phenomenal work in the space. There's a certain pattern of success that you can model your business after to be able to do that and to turn it into something that's full time. It takes time to get it to that point. And so there was, honestly, there was a little bit of a transition time as I was leaving the ad agency and going and doing this full time. I'm like, okay, I can do some of this stuff on the weekends, but man, if I'm really going to go for it, I kind of got to jump out of the boat and go for it.
Wow.
Or as Mike and I have talked about it, burn the boats. You're sailing to an island, you're going to go conquer the island. When you get there, you pretty much need to burn the boats because, the idea with that is you're all in at that point. You don't have an escape plan. You don't have a plan B. The plan, there's no plan A, plan B. There's just the plan. The plan is to win, to conquer. And that means being, absolutely unequivocally 100% all in, and you will do whatever you've got to do to make it work. And that is not, that's not something most people have the stones to do, because that is it's an up before dawn, up until almost dawn kind of a commitment that you have to make to yourself. And especially in my case, a wife and 3 kids, I was fully committed to the idea of doing this and making sure that we just made it work. It's like, I don't know how we're going to make it work. Things are a little tight this month, and then another month it's like, man, we are swimming in it. And then another month it's like, man, this sucks. So it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. And I think that resonates with a lot of people that are creators of any type, whether it be a podcast or, a new product that you're building, or people out there. There's, I wish I had this idea, this Trail Chaser idea in, the early 90s, late 90s. I guess podcasts weren't a thing.
Yeah, that would make you like a savant of some kind.
What I'm saying is, by the time Trail Chasers, by the time I got to here, marriage, wife, job, career, house, mortgage, all that stuff, and those are all the things that you have to weigh when you're about to take this leap that he's talking about and this jump, right? I mean, it's one of those things where, when you're in your 40s and you have a great idea, by that time you're like, damn, and I'm already in this position where I've got responsibilities. When you're 25 and you've got no responsibilities,
hey buddy, I'm gonna come sleep on your couch for a little while. I just quit my job to start a podcast. You started a what?
So I can totally understand that, sink or swim, got to go full blast to make this work, and I have so much respect for people that are able to do that. What in that regard, what do you think was the catalyst? Like, what was it when was the point where you said, I'm doing this, I'm 100% I'm doing this, and you jumped off the boat?
About the same time I started growing the beard.
Oh. Ooh.
So, funny story. I mean, it was, I was actually, I wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have any meetings going on. And so I literally just got to the point where I don't think I had shaved for 3 weeks. And at one point my wife goes, so are you being lazy or are you growing a beard? And I was like,
yes,
I'm growing a beard, like a question. And, so I got complaints for about another week. Your face is scratchy. The kids were all giving me a bad time about it. So was she, and understandably so. It's, 3 or 4 weeks. It's not really soft. And so one day I come out of the shower and I had completely shaved it all off. And everybody freaked out. I was like, well, what? You guys were complaining for 2 weeks about my beard. No, you should have left it. I mean, at least try it. I was like, all right. So I ended up growing it. And in all seriousness, about 4 months later, roughly, started going out to places and people would be like, dude, sweet beard. And of course, it's only several months in at that point. But it was like, I was committed to growing a beard at that point. I'm like, I'm just going to see how this thing grows in. And of course, I got the nice racing stripe coming down the middle.
Nice.
But it was, I grew the beard because I had the support and the okay with my wife. I jumped out of the ad agency world and went into doing this full time because I had the support of my wife. That's a very quick way of putting that much more added strain on your relationship if you do something crazy like that. Like, to your point, bro, like if you jump out and do something like that in your 20s, it's like there's a reason why these dudes in these brand new rock bands are like exploding out of the charts. There's a reason that they're in their late teens to early mid 20s.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to do something nutty like that when you're at that age, and you don't have the responsibilities of a wife and 3 kids and mortgage and everything else to do that. So, I mentioned earlier, I'm 47. 6 years ago in 2013, I was 41. So I jumped into this nonsense at, in my 40s. But it was, I honestly think it's,
it was calculated.
35, 40 years of getting ready for that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a calculated risk for sure.
Yeah, not only calculated.
It definitely was.
I would argue, at least for me, that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was not in a place to be able to do any of this successfully. I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't have the right support system. I didn't have the desire. I didn't, I was focused on climbing my corporate ladder, and I didn't, I dedicated all of my extra time to that. I think, for me, it was, I had to get to a point in my career that I was like, okay, I'm good. I need to start something else. And, it's all, to your point, Jose, it's all calculated. We all have to, pick a time to when this is going to happen. So tell me about
where does the lotto? Doesn't the lotto factor in somewhere in this? That's my plan.
The lotto doesn't solve your problems; it just creates new ones, right?
Well, that's dumb.
It sure seems
it
like
would
it.
solve all my problems.
By the way,
I want those. I want the new. Bring on the new problems.
Yeah,
I just text my boss. I quit, so I'm all in on the check.
Yeah, okay, cool. Checks in the mail, bro. Checks in the mail.
Oh man.
The whole lotto thing, you go, okay, I'd like to manage that problem.
Yes.
Somebody wants to give me the opportunity to manage that.
Yes.
I think I'll take that.
No, I would.
Exactly. You mean I got to write more checks? Whoop-de-doo.
No, personally, I wouldn't manage that. I've got a really good financial planner. I would say, Steve, just give me an allowance of X amount per month. You do whatever you need to do with the rest of it. Just make sure that I always have money there. And Steve would take care of me. That's how much I love my financial.
You're going to give him the power of attorney?
Absolutely, dude. He would take care of me.
It's going to be Rocky 5 all over again.
Adrian, what money?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the Super Jeep Challenge, and we talked about it at the expo. Tell me about that portion of Jeep Nation. What is the Super Jeep Challenge?
So the executive producers of the show, Mark Forrest and Mark Hess, they actually own a Jeep event, smaller than the Lucas Oil Off-Road Expo in Pomona, California. It is smaller than that. You like how I dropped that?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
They own Florida Jeep Jam down in Panama City Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And they've got support of Panama City Beach and a lot of other great sponsors. Continues to grow year after year. I was driving our wrapped Jeep Nation RV at one point. Gosh, I don't remember if we were in Georgia or Florida. It might have been around the Florida-Georgia line.
Isn't all of the same down there? Florida, Georgia. Isn't that Smokey and the Bandit, right?
No, it's a band.
Yeah. That's eastbound and down.
Loaded up and trucking.
Yes. So they actually came up and knocked on my the door to our RV, and were like, "Hey, you may not know who we are, but we know who you are." And we got to talking, and they said, our event is, this weekend in May. And I'm like, yeah, the problem is I'm not going to go because it's my anniversary weekend. And, frankly, I'd rather be hanging out with my wife than you two nice gentlemen. And that's why I've been married as long as I have been.
Exactly.
And so we all kind of laughed about it. I spent that weekend down in Panama City Beach, Florida this year. But my wife and my children were also with me.
No, that makes it better.
But they did get me down there. But no, they said that they wanted to launch this show, and so it's we filmed the pilot for American Super Jeep Challenge in January down in West Palm Beach, Florida at Supercar Week.
Okay.
And Neil London is the promoter down there. He's got, I think, like about 100,000 people that go to that event for the week. And it's the Bugattis and the Lambos and the McLarens and the Rizvanis and just all this amazing, super high-end stuff. And the idea was, hey, let's do the pilot episode of the American Super Jeep Challenge. We're trying to create this category of not just a built Jeep, but an extremely well built Jeep. And so we've got guys that have done LS3 swaps and Hemi swaps and all this stuff. And if you see the pilot of that, the pilot aired on Motor Trend channel in April 20th, in fact, and then we filmed basically season 1, episode 1, starting in May, and pretty much May until this last weekend. We just got back from where did we go? Ocean City, New Jersey. We just got back from there, and then of course the week before we saw you guys in Pomona. The week before that, we were also with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Lucas Oil 4-Wheel Jamboree Nationals Series in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Wow. Yeah.
Can we just say
I'm
you
not
saw
actually
us
paid to drop all these sponsors, but I say it enough times for the camera.
Can you just say
all
you
of it.
saw us in Southern California? I don't like to be, seen in Fontana or Pomona necessarily. There's certain
Hey,
parts.
don't upset the people. You've already pissed off all the people in Hesperia.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm on the website looking at the next stops, and you did Florida, Toledo, Great Smoky Mountain, American Jeep Rally, the Jamboree in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil in Pomona, Ocean City. You're coming to SEMA next, right? So you're going to the SEMA show, and then Atlantic City in December. The SEMA show? What's your participation in the SEMA show? Are you guys actually filming anything or displaying the vehicles? What's going on there?
No, so we're actually it's because we don't want to disrupt the fantastic event of SEMA. For everybody who's watching the show, if you don't know what SEMA is, SEMA, Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association. It is the big off-road industry show for everybody to go to, and it is amazing and it's gigantic. And make sure you wear your comfy shoes, and it doesn't matter if they don't match the outfit. You're going to want to be comfortable because you're going to do so much walking.
Yeah,
it's going to blow your ever-loving mind.
Yep.
But
and you can walk for.
Feeling,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but Jose can attest to this. You can walk for 8 hours and still not just be in one building.
We just stayed in the South Hall. Which
Yeah,
is
you could
4x4 place.
It would take all week to hit every building there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really insane. For I'll talk about that later. The difference between a SEMA build and a featured car slot. If you're trying to get sponsors to support you, if you can get your vehicle into a SEMA booth, then you're probably going to get what you're looking for. If you get a featured car, if you're a featured vehicle at SEMA, you're in like the back, you're 500 yards away from everybody else, and a lot of people who are new to the industry don't realize that.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why, if you've got a featured vehicle slot, if you're finding it difficult to get sponsors, that's actually why. So don't take it personally. A lot of people just need to learn that stuff. So because we don't want to disrupt what's going on at SEMA, we're actually filming the weekend after SEMA. So SEMA is November 5 to 8. And then we're probably filming on Sunday after SEMA.
Okay.
There's a lot of guys do their photo and video shoots on Saturday. I know Motor Trend. We love Motor Trend. I heart you, Motor Trend. Motor Trend and Tread Magazine. All these other guys. A lot of them already have their previously scheduled photo and video shoots they'll do on Saturday after SEMA wraps up. We don't want to mess with that either. In fact, even today I was trading emails with Kenny Hawk, making sure that he was good for Sunday, because he's actually, I don't know if I was supposed to say that out loud, but it's too late now. I've already said it. Kenny Hawk is going to be one of our competitors for the Vegas episode.
Oh, very cool.
We got some other guys. It's going to be another good episode. So we're going to be doing filming an episode out there. And the whole point of the show is, number one, to kind of help define over the course of a few seasons, what a Super Jeep technically is.
Yep.
Not just visually but technically. We're looking for form and function. So we want it to look good, but it's got to perform good. Jeeps are designed to go off road. So from our perspective, you should be able to take the vehicle off road, and it should also have some extreme build elements to it, and whether that's frame stretches, frame cuts, some other interesting fabrication, custom paint. Some of it's going to be showy, some of it's going to be performance related. We got a lot of guys that have done LS3 swaps. Nick Ashby from Rockstar Garage put in a 2009 North Star engine from a Cadillac into his vehicle Gridlock.
Wow.
And you know, he won. You know, there's guys that are doing some crazy stuff. The obvious of Hemi swaps, you know, 5.7 6.4 Hellcat swaps. You know, there's guys that are doing that stuff. But it's like, okay, you know, we're moving beyond a 3.6 engine at this point. We're talking about guys that are going, all right, let's beef up the engine. Let's beef up the suspension. Let's try some things that have not been done before.
And I love the fact that you made the point that Jeep is built to go off road. Like, you know, I've seen, you go to SEMA, you go to some of these car shows. I've seen some really built nice, quote unquote, nice Jeeps with the fancy parts on them, but you know those Jeeps will never hit dirt, right? The fact that you guys are talking about building a super Jeep that is not only cool looking and stylish and, like you said, for show, but you know, it also needs to be able to get on the trail and go out and wheel. To me, that's like, I think that's a critical point in what a super Jeep should be, right? If you were to say, no, just biggest tires win or the flashiest thing win, I don't think it would have the traction that you have.
Spinners.
Spinners. The fact that you make that point that it's still got to go wheeling, man. I love that part. I think that's a great caveat to what you're talking about.
So it's a lot of fun being able to kind of help, the marks, as we call them. Greg and I get to help the marks define what this looks like. The show's going to be airing on Motor Trend in first quarter. We're super insanely excited about that. They're a fantastic network with a lot of really great shows, and I hope ours takes off and does amazing things. And so we've got American Super Jeep there. We've got new episodes. The new season of Jeep Nation is going to be coming to Amazon Prime Video.
Oh,
and same with the American Super Truck Show. So there's some really exciting things happening, and some other stuff that's in the works. I've got another automotive show that we're developing right now. That is, I can float that and talk to you guys about that too. It's a build. It's a builder contest show. Like, you ever seen? We'll see. You guys are watching Property Brothers and stuff like that. So I'm sure you guys are at least.
Monster Garage.
Yeah. Hey, careful about Property Brothers. All right, I get very emotional.
I'm a Chip and Joanna guy. Come on.
All about Magnolia and the Silo.
Man.
You got to go to Waco.
Yes.
Have you guys ever been there?
I'm ready to move. We after watching
that's
that
part of my retirement plan.
After watching that show, we started looking online like we could move to Waco.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot of fun out there. If you haven't been, you guys should totally do it. It's pretty cool. It might be your.
you had mentioned that you're developing a new show. Tell us about that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was making a comment about you guys watching stuff other than automotive stuff. Not in all seriousness, not trying to make a dig, because I watch a bunch of those shows as well. Because again, going back to my comment earlier, I don't necessarily consider myself a builder, more designer from that standpoint. From a big picture perspective, really, I guess I consider myself more an entertainer and a business owner from that standpoint. Greg Henderson, who co-hosts with me on American Super Jeep Challenge, is a phenomenal builder. The guy's done some ridiculous builds. He's got a great vehicle he's built called Frankenbrute. He's got some other really amazing SEMA builds that he's done. He's got Dan Mick's Jeep in his garage, and he's doing some crazy stuff to that too. Phenomenal builder. I call him the Jeeplopedia on the show because his Jeep industry knowledge is just astounding. It really is. But I look at things from a content creation standpoint and from a branding standpoint, hence my ad agency background.
Yeah.
So like I do actually watch a lot of the same kind of shows that you guys are talking about on HGTV. We'll stream a bunch of stuff on Netflix and Amazon as well. And I actually had an idea. I was watching, what was it, the Great British Bake Off, or Great British Baking Show, or whatever it is.
I know which one you're talking. I've never watched it. I've seen it. I've seen it pop up. Yeah.
So it's like 12 competitors, and they whittle it down to the final two, or whatever. And I was like, Jeeps. We need to do that with Jeeps. And so I kind of hashed through a bunch of ideas, and I talked to Greg, and I talked to Mike, and kind of after kind of working through some of the logistics challenges, I was like, this is how we can actually do 12 competitors and 12 Jeeps. And so I've been talking to some different sponsors about the show already, and it's basically to kind of give you a quick glimpse of what that's going to look like. We'll start off with 12 competitors, and we're going to pair the competitors up, and the competitors will be working on 6 Wrangler Sports.
Okay.
And at the end of stage 1, we're going to cut the 4 weakest competitors. So then the techs will all work on 4 Saharas. So we'll have 8 guys working on the 4 Saharas. At the end of that stage, which means at the end of those builds being done, we'll cut the 4 weakest competitors, and then we'll have 4 people left that'll work on 2 Rubicons. And halfway through that stage, we'll cut 2 more competitors, and then the final 2 competitors will be able to put their own little thumbprint on the 2 Rubicon designs with the support of some of the sponsors. We've already been talking to Bullet Liner about their involvement in the finale on the two Rubicons. Talked to some other sponsors who are like, oh my gosh, this idea is fantastic. So, we're already we've already got some great buzz within the industry with some folks that are very interested in the show. So that's pretty exciting. But there's, the second season we could end up working on like Tacomas and Tundras and Forerunners.
Frontiers.
I'd say what's that? But my first truck was a Nissan. I was an '88 Nissan.
You know what?
I wanted a CJ, and I ended up getting a Nissan.
Well, I think Matt is the tip of the spear for the Nissan coming back. He's like.
Was it ever around?
I don't
They
know.
got
But
it in
either
it.
way,
They got a Cummins in it, man. Now everybody can pay attention to it.
After this year, not anymore.
yeah. Now that they have the new one out. So what does the development process look like? I mean, so you hear that, we have this thing in development, right? So from my perspective, development is the frantic brainstorming in my head that I'm trying to get down onto some form of paper that I could share it with someone like these guys, and I start screaming ideas at them, and they're like, that's a great idea, or no, it's stupid, don't talk about it anymore. What does development mean in your world when you're talking about it?
So, again, going back to, I think there's absolutely an element of that. I'm a very right-brained personality, but I've also really kind of developed my left-brain discipline to help facilitate some of the crazy, wild ideas that the right side of my brain comes up with.
Yeah.
So for me, what that normally looks like is, where's my, I'll start with this little guy. I'll start with my phone and I'll type up an idea, wherever I'm at. It's like I keep my phone with me, and just about everywhere I go, if for no other reason, because whenever an idea hits me, I'll be like, just stop.
Yeah.
And so I'm typing frantically on my phone to get just the root of an idea out. And sometimes it's 2 or 3 sentences. Sometimes it's a couple paragraphs worth of text. Sometimes it's just sketchy notes on a piece of paper. And then I'll look at it and go, okay, nobody's going to sponsor that. That's the stupidest idea I've come up with in 3 months.
I was going to say.
That's lame. Throw in the trash.
Yeah.
Is there a genie or something that you text that idea to, or some kind of wizard that kind of makes it happen? Or how does that work? How do you actually make an idea come to fruition?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's honey, I have this idea. and he goes to his wife first.
That didn't work for me, dude.
And his wife is like, have you really thought that one through?
And there is absolutely some truth. Tiffany, my wife, is she's a great judge of good ideas and almost more importantly the bad ideas.
Yeah.
She's definitely shot some ideas down, and the thing that you learn with this stuff is are all 3 of you guys married?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, being married, this, it's like your wife is for you. She wants good things for you. So she's probably only going to tell you, hopefully she's only going to tell you it's a really dumb or bad idea if it's really a dumb or a bad idea. She knows what the goal is with all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I say that. I meant that scenario because that's I guarantee.
I'm trying to buy into that. All right.
My wife.
So you're saying it sucks.
my wife will just, I'll sit there and I'm like, what about this?
Can your wife talk to my wife?
She talks to your wife all the time. It doesn't work.
No, his wife.
Oh, my wife talks to your wife.
Yeah.
But Tammy will sit there and listen. Like I'll like, oh my God, baby, I need to talk to you about it. And I just start throwing ideas at her, and bless her heart, like she listens to every single one of them, and she will give honest input. And she gave us honest input today.
Oh my God.
So our last episode, she sent me a message on her way home. She listens to the show, and she's like, that last episode could have ended about 20 minutes earlier.
Yes.
You spent a
I'm
lot
going
of
to go ahead and apologize to you right now. I'm sorry for flapping my gums on
No, she was talking about our not the
Our, wrap up of
the last 20 minutes of the show was us. We were so tired, and we just kind of rambled on, and it sounded kind of like a us like being happy with ourselves, but it was meant to be more gratitude. But she'll call us on that. She's not afraid to say, hey, you guys, that was you probably could have done something different there. But and I appreciate that, because she'll give honest feedback even if it's not pretty sometimes. So I'm sure that your wife plays a big part in a lot of that.
Yeah. Oh, a huge part. Absolutely. And like I said, I couldn't be doing this without her support. And then, to be able to throw, not just the small ideas, but even some of the big ideas past her, where it's like, okay, so, like I've got this thing, like I kind of call it my secret sauce idea. I've got something really big that we're working towards. And if it works, to say we'll put a dent into the entertainment landscape is not an understatement. Now, it's, I sort of feel like, I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I've definitely figured something out where if I can pull this off, I'll go from running a horse and buggy to running a 1,000 horsepower Bugatti not that quick.
Wow.
It's and I hope, I know from a functionality standpoint I can facilitate it. My brother-in-law Matt Herbert he's a great web dev guy. We've already talked through kind of managing the logistics, the infrastructure for making this thing work, facilitating the idea. There's a couple of really big yeses that I need to get from a couple of companies. And if even one of them says yes, then basically we would be on track for pushing our shows out to about 100 to 150 million people, like overnight.
Wow.
Like it would just be stupid, ridiculous, huge. And to say it would be a rocket ride would probably be an understatement.
Wow, that's interesting.
So it's but even if that idea doesn't happen, it's like I've got this idea, and somebody else could probably end up coming up with the idea at one point. But even if that doesn't, even if that part of the idea doesn't come to fruition, like my whole business is not hinging on that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this like, I've got Jeep Nation, I've got American Super Trucks, I've got The Wrench, which is the competition show, I've got American Super Jeep Challenge, and I've got about 110 more series concepts, HGTV kind of stuff, Food Network kind of stuff, Travel Channel kind of stuff. I've got I've got scripted show ideas, and it's just a matter of getting enough of these shows rolling consistently enough to where the plan is to at one point launch my own Netflix type of an app. I love Motor Trend. I love what we're doing with them. But they're really only they're limited to automotive content. And, I don't know that I'm going to necessarily get picked up on the History Channel and NBC and all these other things. So knowing where streaming is going, all the big network groups have all gone towards streaming in one form or fashion.
Yeah.
And so if that's where the entire industry is going, and I'm all about being able to control my content, because there's for me, it's all about creating family-friendly content. That's such a huge, I will beat that drum to the point where you guys are going to get annoyed with me.
So where is the best place for people to go to consume the content that you're producing?
So the for the purposes of what we're talking about here, I would say go to jeepnationtv.com. It'll actually roll you over to kind of the parent platform site, but you can see all the other shows there as well. But jeepnationtv.com is where I would tell people to go to. And I say that specifically. argnetworks.com is actually like my overarching entertainment group website. At one point, jeepnationtv.com may be separated from that for the purpose for various reasons. You know, if we needed to separate the brand out for, you know, putting automotive content over here and other stuff over here. But yeah, jeepnationtv.com is where they can see all the episodes there. Like you said, we've got we've got the socials set up. We got Facebook and Instagram is where we're probably the most active. We've been doing a bunch of filming for the shows spring and summer, and so we've got some YouTube videos that will be popping up there. Like I said, the new build episodes for Jeep Nation and American Super Trucks are all going to be going on Amazon Prime. But then we've got some other stuff, kind of the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I'll be honest with you, like this. Dang it, hindsight's 2020. Sort of like the whole issue with the camera earlier. I wish I'd been filming this podcast with you guys. Probably something I would have just thrown up on the YouTube channel. I was like, dang it.
Nobody wants to look at me, dude. Don't even sweat it.
But it's the interviews and some other funny lifestyle stuff that we're going to end up doing will be on the YouTube channel. But that's jeepnationtv.com is really where most of that stuff can be seen, because once it airs or once it streams on Amazon for a while, then all those episodes will get added onto our platform as well. So
I didn't realize you guys were on Amazon Prime. I'm going to go check that out tonight.
Well, they're not there yet. The new season is not.
Oh, the new season will be okay. Yeah, that because we use all the different streaming services. That'll be super super convenient and great to get to. I'm really excited about this. I mean, I think what you're doing is creating a content that's right in line with our listeners. I mean, when you think about media consumption from the people that we're talking to right now, it's your off-road builders. It's there's a balance between the crazy $100,000 off-road build and the guys like us that I have $250
run
left.
What you brung.
I have $250. What can I buy on Amazon to put on my truck? Right. So I think,
dude, I four-wheeled a Renegade for like 2 years, so that's how I roll.
On purpose?
Exactly. I put a lift on a Renegade.
I'm sorry, Jeep. I'm totally kidding.
Hey, they waterproofed it now.
Oh, dude, we need to build a Super Renegade for Tony's show.
Yes.
The American Super Renegade. Supergade.
Supergade.
Supergade,
That's
absolutely.
it.
Supergade.
Gatorade. What?
That would be the one that you drive down in Florida.
Yes.
It's funny too,
Gatorade. Get it? That was pretty good. I like it.
Mike, that was for you.
Nice.
So the whole thing that you were talking about with the $150,000-$250,000 Jeeps. When we were in Ocean City, New Jersey, at the Ocean City Jeep Invasion that Jamie hosts, we were just there this weekend. We were filming an episode of American Super Jeep Challenge. The guy that won, is a $250,000 Jeep, LS3 swap. It was just, dude, it was beautiful and highly functional.
Yeah.
It was go fast and hit the whoops and oh yeah, and we got some great looking custom paint. House of Colors did the paint.
Wow.
There's all kinds of great stuff about the rig. But it along with that, one of the other guys that made top 3, he didn't get as many points because of some of he came up short in some areas. But Randy and Dave, there were a couple of guys that brought, one of them had a Scrambler, one of them had a TJ truck.
Oh.
And I'm probably exactly. When he posted the picture on Facebook, I was like, submit it. I want to see that at the show. The guy is all in, granted he's going to do an LS3 swap on this thing now. But all in where he's at with this thing, $10,300. And when you look at this rig, you're going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The guy's got custom audio in there. He's got a custom top that he fabricated for this thing. a custom bed that he built from the tub of another rig. Bought another frame because the frame that he had was just totally rusted out. So he ended up buying what he thought was a TJ frame. Ended up with a TJU, which is LJ frame. So he's like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to fabricate an even longer bed on this thing. So this guy did all the work himself. Took it to, I think he said he took it to a Mako for the paint job on this thing. I'm going,
Yes.
dude, this guy checked a bunch of the boxes as far as the qualification stuff on this. Because if you go to AmericanSuperJeep.com, you'll see, register as a builder on there, and you can look at the minimum build requirements on that. Well, if you meet the minimum build requirements, I encourage you to submit your build. And it doesn't matter, guys, if it's a home garage built, built in your barn, or if you've taken it to, like the guys at Crazy House Customs built a rig called Murdercon, one of the other events out there. Psyched to have Nick coming down to Florida with us for the finals. But I love the idea that a home builder could make it top 3 and even potentially go even further than that with the right attention to detail. Because it's not just, oh, you built this TJ truck. Well, then it's like, okay, well, you're not going to get beat by a guy who's got an LS3 because you don't have an LS3. But if it's like, if all things are equal and this guy's got an LS3 and you don't, well, this guy's going to score more points. It doesn't mean that your Jeep isn't great. It just means he's going to beat you in some areas because you get points based on the individual categories, and all that's on the website. So it's like you literally could have a guy spend $10,000 to $20,000, build his own rig, and if he knows what he's doing and he knows how to weld and he's doing, he's stacking the dimes and the welds are clean, and you just kind of go, dang, this guy actually qualifies, and dude's got a $20,000 Jeep. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that.
Looking at this list, I think we can do the Renegade. Minimum 4-inch lift, minimum 37-inch tires, coilovers, air suspension.
We're halfway there. We're halfway there.
6 points wedge cage or greater. Body modifications. We body modified the crap out of that Renegade with a cutting wheel and a hammer.
Yeah, it's functioning AC. One of those because it's got that
axle swap.
260 here, baby.
Engine performance, engine swap. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Custom fabrication, custom. I mean, I love the fact that there's enough stuff here where someone could take their own vision of what they wanted to do.
We have to come up with a really cool name for it too. That seems to go a long way. Like if
Murdercon,
Gatorade or something.
I don't know. We'll have to come up with
something
for the Renegade. Yeah. Again, this is really cool, man. I love the fact that you've taken a concept and through your skill set and drive and everything have built this whole community around people that want to modify their Jeeps and create a super Jeep, which is something that until you and I had this conversation, or all three of us had this conversation with you at Expo, the concept of super Jeep. I mean, as soon as you said it, I was like, okay, I know what he's talking about, but I've never had a conversation with someone about a super Jeep. I mean, it's like, oh no, why was that not a thing already? I don't understand. Like that's super, you know what I mean? Like you really hit on something there, and I'm excited.
Well, when you hear supercar, you go, okay, I guess I can figure that out.
Yeah.
You start thinking McLaren, Bugatti, Spiker, Koenigsegg, some of these things like that. You go, okay, well, there's sports car, and then there's supercar.
Ford Escort. I mean, they're all up there, right? I mean, that's
super Jeep. right.
My Ford Escort was a supercar. I don't care. But seriously, like this is really cool, and I really think that it. I really think it's going to give people an opportunity to show their skills and the build. I mean, to be honest, I look at some of these things and I think about the work Casey's done on his crappy ZJ and think, if he went a little bit further and had some money, he could absolutely enter that into the Super Jeep. I don't know if it would make it, Casey. I mean, he'd break down the night before and have to do a drivetrain swap or something. But I just thinking about people that are fabricators that to your point, doesn't require $250,000. If you've got the desire and the skill set, you can build something that can make it on the show for the same thing that we're paying for all of our other builds.
Yeah, and it's. There was a where were we? Toledo, and there's I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm blanking. Met so many people this summer. I'm trying to keep up with everybody's names. I feel like the guy's name was Dave, but I could be wrong. but he had a yellow ZJ called Short Bus. And
Casey,
Like
we
it.
just found a new name for your vehicle.
I didn't name it. I'm just for the record. But this is a guy who I feel like he said 3 or 4 years ago or something, he first got into Jeeping, and it was because he went out with a buddy of his, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I want to do this to a rig too." Well, this guy's married, has 3 or 4 kids that they brought donuts to the crew when they were out filming with us. But this is a guy who learned how to weld at home, learned how to do all this stuff. The vehicle didn't show as well as some of the other vehicles, but the reason being is the guy never built this to be a show vehicle. The guy built it. He's got this crazy exoskeleton on this thing. He's still got stock seats in there. The guy wheels it, and he wheels it hard.
Nice.
This is it's a play toy for his family, and honestly, that's certainly the function side of doing all this stuff. From a form standpoint, it photographs better than it looks up close.
That's me too.
But
That's
when you look at stuff like that, I'm like, I still love the fact that the guy technically, from a technical standpoint, qualified. And one of the things that I would hope from something like doing this show is that the more people see the show, when they see, of course, the pilot episode's got a lot of really fancy rigs in it. But I really hope that as people watch the season when it starts airing on Motor Trend in the first quarter, that they see some of these other rigs and are like, bro, I could totally do that.
Yeah.
I can totally qualify. And I don't have to spend $250,000. Like some guys, my age and maybe as young as you guys are.
Thank you. Jose's young. The three of us are all the same age.
Gotcha. So, some guys our age, a lot of them took shop in high school. And so they know their way to a certain degree around an engine. They can kind of mess around with some stuff and, are not afraid of the idea of an engine swap and, putting something in, especially like, Bruiser Conversions has LS swap kits. He's got the harness dial. America's Most Wanted has got the 6.4 Hemi stuff, and you can pick up a Hemi swap with the wiring harness and all that kind of stuff. And you can do this stuff if you know basically what you're doing. You can do the stuff at your home.
Yeah.
You can do the fabricated parts. You can take the thing to Maaco and get a paint job, or you can go to your local bullet liner shop and have somebody put bullet liner all over this thing. And next thing you know, instead of dropping, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, the right guy with the right resources could probably be into this thing, maybe $50,000 tops between the Jeep and some of the aftermarket parts and an engine swap, and be legitimately competing if the guy's willing to take some time and do it right, pay attention to the details. Like, we want the show to inspire smaller builders. We want the show to inspire build shops that look at it and go, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Boys, let's build one of those. We
Yeah.
want these guys to see this stuff and get inspired to go, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and build something even bigger, even faster, even more insane. And for the guys that have money, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to go, oh, now I got something even bigger we could do.
Yeah.
And
Or
honestly,
even,
I talked to one of the builders, and he's doing that.
and I would say even the aftermarket companies that are sponsoring the show, some fabricator comes up with an idea and puts it on a vehicle that nobody from the R&D department of a fabrication of a aftermarket parts company has thought of yet. That's right there. There's there's our next $1 million product that we need to pick this guy's brain, duplicate that for these vehicles, and boom, we got a new product. So I love this, man. I think this is a great idea. I love the Jeep Nation TV and the Super Jeep Challenge, and I am hoping that we get to hear more about this as it comes up. We're going to be paying attention to it as it starts to air in Q1. Do me a favor, let us know when it's coming out so we can tell our listeners when it's coming out, because I think people will start to watch this, just based on your personality and how much fun we had with you at the expo. I think if you're listening to this show, you will like watching what Tony's putting together. So I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm glad that we had the chance to have a much deeper conversation than we did at the show.
And I am looking forward to what
Are you sure we're recording right now?
Yeah,
just to be sure.
Hold on. Yeah,
Wait,
I got
too soon?
I got squiggly lines.
Maybe too soon.
But to his point, I should have been recording the whole screenshot, the whole thing too. But next time. But seriously, man, thank you so much. We do appreciate you taking the time tonight to talk to us, and we are looking forward to what's coming out. We'll pay attention to it. We'll let people know when it comes out, and for the time being, go to JeepNationTV.com so you can see some of the stuff that they're working on and some of the events that are coming up, man. Anything else before we go?
Yeah, this is that perfect opportunity where if I'd actually thought of the pithy, sarcastic comment, this is where I would be dropping it. But no, I don't actually have one for you.
Cut. Edit. Cut. We'll make one up for you. How's that?
You can edit it in and let me think of something stupid to say. Crap. No, I got nothing. Shoot. That's unusual.
Oh, man. No worries, man. Well, again, we don't want to take up the entire night. It's, I appreciate you spending this hour with us, and we definitely will stay in contact and talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Have a good night. We'd like to thank Nexen Tire for their support. We've been extremely impressed with the Roadian MTX tires, and we are excited about what the future holds for Nexen. If you want to be part of this growing community, please go to NexenTireUSA.com and check out their complete line of tires for your rig.
We would love to hear your feedback. Please go to trailchasers.net/contact and drop us a line or leave us a voicemail at 951-395-DIRT.
You can stay up to date with all our shenanigans by going to trailchasers.net/register and signing up for our newsletter, or follow us on Instagram at The Trail Chasers.
Do you want us to talk about you on the show? Best way to do it is leave us a review on iTunes.
And thanks again to Ryan Torigno for all the music on the show. You can find him at ryantorigno.com.
$50.
All right, we gonna Rochambeau or pick a ticket? Pick a ticket. Okay, what is it?
4, 5, 6, 0, 7, 2.
072.
4, 5, 6, 0, 4, 8.
048.
048, guys.
4, 5, 6, 0, 0, 5.
005.
005. What?
Nice.
Congratulations for everyone!